All right, if you're a front-end dev, let's be real. You set default values all the time. It's just part of the job. But have you ever really stopped to think about how much power is packed into that one simple choice? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden psychology of defaults and see how they secretly shape, well, pretty much every single user interaction.
You know, we like to think our users are these perfectly rational beings. We build these beautiful interfaces with tons of options, and we assume they're going to carefully weigh the pros and cons and pick the one that's objectively the best for them. But is that really what's happening out there in the wild? So, check this out. The Nielsen-Norman Group did this incredible study on search results, and what they found was wild. A huge 42% of people click the very first link. The second link only gets 8%. Now, the obvious takeaway here is, okay, the top result is just the best one. Makes sense, right? Well, this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah, this is the brilliant part of the experiment. The researchers decided to throw a wrench in the works. They secretly swapped the top two search results. So the link that was number 1 got moved down to the second spot, and the number 2 link was promoted to the top. The big question was, would people notice? Would they still click on what was actually the better link, or would that top position just win?
And get this, the results are just mind-blowing. Even when the objectively worst link was sitting in that top spot, it still got the most clicks, a full 34%. That top position has this, magnetic pull on our attention. It's proof that users don't always click what's best. They have this powerful, almost unconscious bias toward whatever we present as the default.
But hold on, look a little closer at that number. See that 8% drop? The top spot went from getting 42% of clicks all the way down to 34%. And that tells us something absolutely crucial. While the default is incredibly powerful, it's not everything. When the quality dropped enough, some users, not all, but some, were able to overcome that initial bias and go hunting for a better option.
Jakob Nielsen himself summed it up perfectly. We're wired with this strong bias to just go with the flow, to click the top link. It's a mental shortcut. It saves us brain power, but it's not an unbreakable spell. A big enough difference in quality can actually snap us out of it. And this whole idea, this principle, has a formal name in the world of UX, and we call it defaulting. Now, as developers and designers, this isn't some random accident. It's a conscious choice we make. We are intentionally pre-selecting an option for the user, usually with the goal of making their life just a little bit easier and cutting down on decision fatigue.
And this is why this matters so much for the code we write every single day. Because smart defaults, they're so much more than just a convenience. They literally save users time. They guide them away from making common mistakes. And you can even use them to gently nudge people toward desired behaviors, like adopting a cool new feature or maybe enabling a more secure setting.
Okay, so we get the theory. Defaults are powerful, super powerful. But how do we, the people actually writing the code, translate this into our daily work? How do we go from just picking whatever to picking the right default?
It really boils down to a pretty simple 3-step process. First, and this is the big one, do your research. Stop guessing what users want, dig into your analytics, look at your user data, and make a decision based on facts. Second, be transparent about it. Let people know a choice has been made for them, and for goodness sake, make it super easy for them to change it if they want to. And finally, number 3, review and adjust. This is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. As your product changes and your users evolve, your defaults should too.
Let's look at some real-world examples to make this concrete. Okay, a country selector. A lazy default is just listing countries alphabetically, right? So every user has to scroll past Afghanistan. A smart default uses geolocation to suggest the user's actual country. Boom, done. Or think about a subscription plan. The lazy default is showing the cheapest monthly option. But a smart default, it pre-selects the most popular or the best value annual plan, guiding the user towards a choice that might actually be better for them in the long run.
And that's really the bottom line here. That default value you set in your component or in your config file, it's not just a placeholder. It's not just there to stop a null error from popping up. It is an active design choice. It is a powerful tool, a nudge, that actively shapes how people interact with the thing you've built.
So, the next time you're coding a form or setting up a config panel or building out a settings page, just pause for a second. Ask yourself this question. Am my defaults actually helping my users, or are they creating friction? Are they guiding them to a better experience, or are they just the first thing that I thought of? What kind of behavior are your defaults encouraging?